Hello there.
For the survival of the Republic, the fate of all Jedi, for control of the Force itself.
Fade in. We couldn't be more thrilled to be starting the High Republic Publishing Initiative, and we've got this wonderful selection of authors here for a panel discussion and to explain a little bit more about what this era is inside of Star Wars. We've put together this piece that gives you some idea of what the High Republic era is all about. Enjoy.
Set the scene for me. Once you get the call, how do you even begin to prepare for something like this? Do you do research? Do you just run around the house yelling with excitement? That's what I would do. Charles, do you want to take it first?
Well, I did run. I ran to my Blu-ray player, whatever you want to say, because the first place you began when you're building a new era in Star Wars is all the stuff that already exists. So I know I started by watching all the movies again, and really focusing on what I thought was impressive about Star Wars, what was meaningful about Star Wars to me, because we were, this job was to make something that was authentically Star Wars from the ground up, but also really fresh and new and special and powerful. And it had to be what all five of us, I didn't know who the other authors were at that time, which is kind of a funny thing. So I knew I was part of something. I didn't realize how big it was going to be or how close I would become with all the other people who were part of it, obviously. But I just started by looking at Star Wars and digging in deep and thinking about if I really had this opportunity that Mike had described to me to make kind of our own Star Wars, which is sort of what it was and has become. I can't believe it's actually happening. What would that mean to me? And so I started with the source material and just went from there.
Claudia, what was your response?
I probably had, it's not the opposite reaction, but it's going to sound like it is. I started asking myself, what were the things that I loved in other epic sagas, I guess, because I loved Star Wars, had loved it for years, had been writing it for some time and felt like I was immersed in that. But what were the other things that drew me to other media, whether that's, Dune or the Arthurian legends or whatever? Like, what are the big epic qualities that pull you in, or at least pull me in? That was where I began, I think.
Daniel, I know one of the elements that you suggested, because I saw it up on that big whiteboard, was dinosaurs. So you want to talk a little bit about your process as well?
Dinosaurs. I mean, what else is there to say? The funny thing is, I didn't actually suggest that. I think someone else did because I kept bringing up dinosaurs and they did it on my behalf, which I appreciate. But we all know there's always been dinosaurs in Star Wars from, the beginning.
Cav who asked the question, what scares the Jedi? And we thought, that's an interesting question. What does scare the Jedi? And you put both of those together and run with it, and that became the basis for the High Republic.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
This is the golden age of the Jedi. This is when they're at their height. These are peacekeepers who've pretty much done their job exceptionally well. There's been peace for hundreds and hundreds of years, and so the galaxy has entered a period of prosperity, of progress, and that's changed the way the Jedi view themselves, view the Force, in some cases even view the laws of the Jedi as well. But most importantly, it's changed the way the Jedi operate. They're not hidden away in temples, and there's not just one temple on Coruscant. There are outposts and temples on every major planet in the Republic, and the Jedi are out with the people. They are a part of life. People are used to seeing them, and the people love them. And that gives a special responsibility to these Jedi to perhaps be a little more flexible in how they work, but also, above all, to be the beacon of light they need to be for an ever-growing galaxy.
It's a big galaxy, and there's plenty of people in it and stuff in it that is not just these amazing space wizards we all love so much. There's a whole republic. There's the High Republic is a galactic government that is run by a very enlightened chancellor named Chancellor Lena So, and she has generated sort of a motto for the galaxy that has been by and large bought into, which is "We are all the Republic," which is a phrase that I think is meaningful because it means that despite all of our differences, and in Star Wars, people are very, very different. They're from not just, different as, personality-wise, but literally they're different species. They come from different worlds, completely different cultural backgrounds. But if they can all sort of rally behind the idea that we are all the Republic, many, many things can happen. Compromise can happen in a way that is refreshing. Divisions don't seem quite as divisive. It's a beautiful idea, and that is one of the organizing principles of the High Republic. And so the analogs that I know that I used as touchstones, and I think we all sort of drew from in different ways, were the ideas of Camelot, two Camelots. One is Arthurian Camelot, which, King Arthur and the knights and going on quests and sort of this time of pomp and chivalry and codes and all of that, but with an eye towards sort of great drama and optimism. And then the other is the early 1960s in America, also called Camelot, the other Camelot, when the Kennedys were in the White House. And it was, generally speaking, not for everybody, obviously, but for many people, it was seen as a time of optimism and expansion for America. The moon program began, Apollo began, by the end of the decade, we'll be on the moon, various things like that. It was a time when many, many things seemed possible, and there was a reason to be optimistic and a reason to push forward. And the High Republic, in many ways, is similar. Chancellor So has a program of great works, which are huge galactic programs that are designed to kind of bring things forward and to improve things. And it's just kind of a tonal shift from anything we've really seen before in Star Wars. There's no galactic civil war. There's no shadow of the Sith all over everything. Like, everybody's like, okay, let's do some cool stuff. And they do. And that's the stories that we're telling.
The Great Disaster. What can you tell us about this ominous sounding event?
Well, it is a disaster. It is great in terms of its scope and scale. I do not know that the people involved in it would call it great. They would probably have a different name for it. But basically, there's a problem with hyperspace. Something really, really bad happens, and it begins to involve a very large swath of the Outer Rim. And the Light of the Jedi begins with that disaster, and the response of the Republic and the Jedi to it allows us to meet a very sort of broad group of new characters, which is really fun because you're introducing, many, many, many new ideas, new characters, new people that hopefully the readers are going to really fall in love with quickly. And so the idea was to give all of those characters a crisis to respond to, because nothing exposes character more than responding to a crisis. And so it is huge. The Great Disaster takes up the whole first third of Light of the Jedi. It's a massive storytelling thing, but it's not just in Light of the Jedi, because one of the ideas that we wanted to do was to suggest that there are certain events throughout the entire High Republic story that we're telling that are being hit at different times by all of the storytelling. So Daniel's book, Justina's book, Claudia, Cavs, all of the stuff we're doing, they hit these events in much the same way that the Death Star's explosion rippled through many, many stories throughout Star Wars that we've seen. The Great Disaster is similar, and there will be lots of other cool events like that to come.
And so she's sent on this sort of diplomatic mission because similar to what Charles pointed out, at this point, the Republic is expanding. And so there are member planets coming into the Republic all the time. Starlight Beacon, which is this massive beacon in space, because if you know anything about transmissions in space, sometimes things don't go as far as they need to because you need those signal boosters and such.
Anakin, my long-range transmitter has been knocked out. Retransmit this message to Coruscant.
It's a trick. Send no reply. Send no transmissions of any kind.
Negotiations haven't started because the ambassadors aren't there. How could that be true?
Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
If you're an adult reader who wants a quicker read, a kid's book is great because it's just as engaging. There's just as much, Jedi hot lightsaber action as any of the other places.
Starlight Beacon is this immense station that is not just a Republic base, it's also a Jedi temple as well, and it's run by sort of the Jedi Order and the Republic together. And so Ava is in charge of the Jedi side of things. And then one of my favorite characters is Starling Maru, who is a Thesurian, who is the master of multitasking, who literally makes sure that the station keeps ticking.
All right. Just who is Buckets of Blood?
First of all, you have to say it in all caps. Buckets of blood!
Buckets of blood!
He's like one of my favorite new Jedi. He's along for the ride with the Padawans helping out. Buckets of blood is on the way!
Star Wars is for fucking kids.
And it was like so cool, partially because he's a healer, right? Like paramedics are healers. So it's this name that's literally soaked in gore, but he's really describing what as he says, he's like, I'm supposed to put the blood back in the body, not take the blood out, because he's not a fighter, he's a healer.
All of these characters are new. I mean, and there are some connections to characters you might have seen in other storytelling, but by and large, every single one of these people is new. You know, Yoda, whatever. But I think Markian Ro is very, very cool. He's very different than any of the other types of bad guys we've seen in Star Wars before. Building a new bad guy who's supposed to stand toe-to-toe, ideally, with some of the amazing villains we've seen in Star Wars in the past has been a really invigorating challenge, and I think we did it. I'm excited to see what people think.
Charles is Yoda, whatever. No story is complete without a villain, and what's more awesome than pirates? And not like nice pirates, right? I think we're all kind of past the point of like Pirates of the Caribbean. These are space pirates, and they're not nice. This is all new Star Wars, and the Nile believe in nothing.
We have the Drengir show up, and they are sentient mobile plants. And if that does not sound scary at first blush.
Sentient mobile plants? You mean like the dad in Goosebumps Stay Out of the Basement episode? Huh, never seen that before.
I have to tell you, I don't even think it's been a month since hurricane, there were so many hurricanes this year. Was it Zeta came through New Orleans?
Zeta, that was the one.
Zeta, yeah. And it came through and took out several of our banana trees. They had to be chopped down with the machete. They're gone. They've already grown back more than a foot. They had started by the next day. It's like, oh, wait. And you start to realize this makes these villains very hard to kill.
Oh my God, if only there was something like, you know, some kind of chemical or lightsaber that we could use to kill plants. Oh my goodness, is there anything like that out in the universe? These are Jedi with fucking lightsabers! You want me to expect them to be afraid of a fucking walking plant?
And if you don't think plants have weapons, I mean, where do you think poisons come from? Thorns.
Thorns? Thorns? Hey guys, there's a Jedi Knight with a fucking lightsaber, but I'm a walking bush and I have thorns!
They have an incredible capacity to heal, and they also do not share any kind of common feeling or way of thinking really with, I'm going to say, animals, including everybody in Star Wars we would consider people. They don't see any common ground there, and there is just no compunction about the destruction that they might cause.
And they eat people.
Yeah, like the Venus flytrap, you know.
Yeah, we develop them more in the Marvel series as well. And as Claudia said, you know, they are unstoppable. And once, you know, one seed, that's all you need. And then the Drengir are there, and you can't get rid of them. And they're intelligent as well. These aren't just mindless monsters. There is a very deep intelligence there that's linked. They have this weird telepathic root system they use for the dark side of the Force. Oh, because they're also dark side. And so even though you may only have one Drengir, you know you're actually facing all of them. So So yeah, they are a force to be reckoned with.
I'm just imagining the marketing possibilities behind like Drengir in a box. One seed is all you need.
Right.
Like chia pets. There should definitely be chia pet Drengirs.
But also the culinary possibility.
Drengir,
Right?
Yes.
Sauteed Drengir, a little bit of spices, you know.
But the trouble with that is that they're not the food. We are.
This is why I don't like salad.
Salad doesn't like you.
I know.
It will eat you back.
It will eat you. I also think readers have to know that we are all really pretty much describing these books terribly, because we have been with them for so long. Like it's been like a lifetime of like sitting with these stories and keeping them to ourselves. So I think a lot of the things that readers are gonna like really be excited about, we're probably not talking about it, which is even more reason for them to pick up the books themselves.
It is so fun to literally have no idea what's going to happen next, because it's hundreds of years before, and sure Yoda's in it, whatever. It's a beautiful thing when you're in the middle of a bunch of Star Wars stories and you really have no idea where it's going to go. And we leaned into that hard, and it's going to stay that way throughout the whole initiative, which is massive.
And Yoda, whatever.
And Yoda.
Yoda, whatever. I'm
And
so
not
gonna
nice
get you a
pirate.
shirt, Charles, it says, and Yoda, whatever.
I love that Justina was like pirates and not the nice pirates. You know, now I want to do nice pirates, a Star Wars story.
Pirates of the Caribbean or the Caribbean have really ruined it all for us.
Star Wars, nice pirates.
Next time you all go to the ranch for that third retreat and you're watching Return of the Jedi, I want you all to have T-shirts that have a quote from this panel, like Yoda, whatever.
And this is Star Wars, so things happen.
And then also Yoda. Whatever.
Yeah, Yoda, whatever.
Yeah.
I am working on something which I am not allowed to tell you anything about, except that it exists and I am working on it. So.
All right.
It's accurate.
It exists. It's real. You got this.
Phase 1 is titled Light of the Jedi. Phase 2 is titled Quest of the Jedi. And Phase 3 is titled Trials of the Jedi.
We have had some great times.
Absolute blast.
Like 5 years worth of memories.
A half decade of goofs, guffaws, and gallivanting.
Now see, you're using alliteration and you're only alliterative when you're stalling.
Stalling? No. Fine. Let's just address the bantha in the room.
The Star Wars show is going on hiatus.
Not like our normal holiday hiatus. This time we're going to take an actual meaningful break.
That's not to say the two of us or the show are going anywhere. We'll still pop back up for the occasional specials or events, but as far as the weekly and monthly series goes, we're going to take a step back for a bit. How long? Who knows?
Thank you so much. Tough to not be emotional.
I'm Anthony Garboni.
I'm Andy Gutierrez. Salt.
Starting later this month, we'll be launching a brand new bi-monthly Star Wars The High Republic YouTube show hosted by the one and only Christina Ariel.
Each episode, we're going to take a deep dive into the mythology, characters, and stories we know you're going to love from this exciting new series. So whether it's the evolution of characters, minutia of story, or how the High Republic will be brought to life on different platforms, nothing will be left undiscovered by me and my rotating cast of panelists and celebrity guests. It's the High Republic show on StarWars.com and the Star Wars YouTube channel. I hope to see you there.
this is canon.
In addition, it'll be fun for fans to see Easter eggs and tie-ins pop up that really help to build out this era. Some of these have already been seen in books and comics, and a few months ago, ILM X Lab entered into the era of the High Republic with their VR tale, Temple of Darkness, which is part of the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge experience. You might even see Jedi Padawan Adi Sunzi show up in the books and comics to come.
I didn't want to do somebody that was going to be just like Han Solo, and I definitely didn't want to do Diet Han Solo. What is a template for a pilot who has some of this scoundrel energy but isn't Han Solo at all? And somehow my brain was like, you need to give 1990s Matthew McConaughey a spaceship and see what would happen.
And as always, may the Force be with you.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Why?
It would be bad.
What do you mean bad?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip. Thanks, Egon.
I think part of being part of an organization is you bring your own prejudices and beliefs with you. We even see it in A New Hope, right? Like everyone's like blah blah blah, and then like Darth Vader's choked somebody out, and they're still like and they're still talking back to him because they're still like the Force, whatever.
You know, Yoda, whatever.
I'm sorry, Charles is Yoda, whatever.
And sure, Yoda's in it, whatever.
And Yoda, whatever.
And Yoda.
Yoda, whatever. I'm
And
so
not
gonna
nice
give you a
pirate.
shirt, Charles. It says and Yoda, whatever. And then also Yoda, whatever.
Yeah, Yoda, whatever.
Then, yeah.
Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. May the Force be with you.
Most impressive.